Hi guys, and welcome back. I thought I would do a second video a little bit ahead of time of what I would usually do. I'm hoping to do it usually on weekends, but I had a bit of extra time this week, and this weekend I've got a separate surprise for you guys anyway. So I thought I'd do this video because I've had a lot of questions and things like that about my teen mum status. So I say teen mum very vaguely, purely because I'm currently 20, but I did find out that I was pregnant with little one when I was 19 years old. So I did just make the cut, and I've had so many people asking me what it was like to tell my parents, what it was like to tell my friends, how I told my partner, all things like that. So I thought I'd dedicate a whole video to it. So I found out that I was pregnant after being very poorly for about 2 weeks. So I knew inside that something wasn't right, and that something in my body wasn't going as it should. Prior to this, I had the Implanon implant, which I will put a few fact pages to down below. However, my next video I am going to try and do a whole kind of fact file on that and my experience with that. Obviously there's been a lot of kind of hate to it in the media recently, and so we'll do that at the next video. However, I had mine taken out, and they said to me when they took it out that my fertility will be very up and down, so to still go on to a different contraceptive, but to bear in mind that I probably won't be able to get pregnant or anything like that for a good kind of 3 to 4 months, just while your body's equaling out. And if it was that I got pregnant, the possibility of miscarriage is very high. So I wasn't trying anyway. I'd currently just finished college, studying childcare, so I wasn't in any position to have a child. However, me and my partner both said that if it ever happened, then it's a gift. After 2 weeks of being really poorly, I had taken several pregnancy tests just to make sure. I'm quite paranoid when it comes to things like that, so I was just making sure that I wasn't, and that if I was, I could then go through the correct procedures kind of thing. In total, I think I did about 15 pregnancy tests, all of which came back negative. I didn't know at the time that even if there's a slight line, it's definitely worth just double checking. I didn't even look out for anything like that. I just thought if it wasn't 2 big lines, then I'm not pregnant. Both me and my partner kind of accepted the fact that we weren't pregnant, and so we kind of carried on with day-to-day life until we ironically were setting up and putting down bouncy castles for one of our friends, and I was finding that I had to pee all the time, and it was completely out of the blue for me. So I thought, as an off chance, we'd stop off and I'd get a pregnancy test. My sister at the time was trying for a baby, so she had tons of pregnancy tests in her bathroom. So we went over to visit her, and I thought, you know what, let's just double check. I'm going to do this pregnancy test. So as I sat down on the toilet, did the whole pee on the stick and put the cap on, and as I was putting it back onto the side, because obviously you've got to leave them for 3 to 5 minutes, I noticed that already the 2 lines were really prominent. So it wasn't even that there was one big line and a faint line. This was 2 very sure 100% pregnant lines. I will mention that the week before I went to the doctors to double check this, and I had a pregnancy test with the doctors, and they told me that it was 110% not possible for me to get pregnant. And almost exactly 7 days after that is when I found out. So if you're trying to get pregnant and you're taking tests and things like that and they're coming up negative, if you still haven't had your period, definitely just keep an eye on it, because I was 100% adamant that I couldn't get pregnant and we were fine. And yeah, it ended up that I was pregnant the whole time and my body knew best. So I found out these 2 lines, and all of my family was in the next room, so I wasn't really confident enough to go in and go, oh my god, I'm pregnant, because the only thing that was going through my head was, I'm pregnant and I'm 19 years old. Like, it was disappointment, like not personally, but that my family was going to be so disappointed with me. I was meant to be going to uni, all things like this. And so I just shoved it into my leggings because I didn't have a pocket and just walked out. grabbed James and said, we've got to go home now, I really don't feel very well, and we just left. And it wasn't until we were on the van on the way home that I was in shock. I was feeling sick. I said to my partner, I think I'm actually going to be sick, and just complete mixed emotions. So I kind of pulled it out of my leggings and just gave it to him and just went, here you go. And he looked at it, and I could not have asked for a better reaction from anyone. I was in pure panic at this point, and the only thing that was going through his head was excitement. He was kind of ready for a child, not that I wasn't, but I was having a more logical head of, can I afford a child? Can I support it? Will I be a good mother? Like, can I do this kind of thing? And he was absolutely amazing, and he was so supportive. And I just remember him looking at me and going, we're gonna be mummy and daddy, we're gonna be parents, like, and the smile that came across his face. So telling him I was nervous, but I wasn't scared because I knew that he'd be happy too. So telling him wasn't an issue at all. That was absolutely fine. And I do think, especially if you are a young mum, that it is really important to tell your partner, because you can work through it together. Obviously not everyone has the same reaction as I did. I do think it's important for you to work together, because at the end of the day, if you do decide to go through with your pregnancy, you're going to be a mummy and daddy to this little child, and you've got to work as a unit even if you're separated. So definitely, even if you're scared, do let him know. Next on the agenda was telling his parents, because we currently live in his house with his mum. So when we got home, we actually went to Tesco's and got another clear blue test. So the ones that I've been doing were kind of like the £3 over-the-counter ones. I wanted to be definitely sure, and I knew that spending 15 quid on a clear blue one would give me more of kind of peace of mind. So we went and got a clear blue test and took it home, peed on it and tried to hide it from his mum. So kind of had to pee on this test, brought it in, and it said that I was around 2 to 3 weeks pregnant, which if you read on the box, when it says 2 to 3 weeks, you have to add on an extra 2 weeks onto it, because it doesn't go by your cycle. Which we had worked out that I was around about 4 to 5 weeks, just because we had been on holiday, and holiday times, things happen. I was so excited, and I wanted to tell everyone, and I thought, I can't tell everyone at the minute, but I can tell Joan. So I said to James I really wanted to tell her, brought it in, and kind of I just handed her the test and just went, oh, there you go. We couldn't move. It's just excitement from then on. It was then time to tell my parents. I can honestly say I've never been so scared. Purely because you always want to kind of please your parents and you want to make them proud, and in my head this was kind of the worst thing that could possibly have happened to my dad. His little girl getting pregnant at 19. And I didn't know what to do. I didn't want to tell him, but then at the same time I really wanted to tell him, and it did take me a good kind of month to get over it myself. I think that's really important. I think definitely give yourself some time just to process this before you go shouting it out, because especially if you are young and it wasn't in your plans, there is a lot of people that will try and basically force their beliefs on you. You are going to get these people that will say, oh, well, are you going to keep it, and make you feel guilty about keeping your child. And I do think it's a very personal decision. Personally, there was never a shadow of a doubt. I've always been the most maternal, broody person you'll ever meet. So finding out the news was just, I was overwhelmed with joy. However, it's personal preference, and I will never judge or anything like that, because at the end of the day, everyone has their own circumstances that they've got to work past. So I kept it to myself for a bit, and we didn't really tell anyone. I told my sisters. I have 2 older sisters. They both have children, so I thought that to tell them would make it a little bit easier on how to tell my parents, and they could give me a little bit of advice. So they were absolutely over the moon. They were so excited, they couldn't wait. They've been desperate for me to have children since I was yay high, so they were completely over the moon and really supportive. And now it was time to tell my dad. If any of you know my dad, and I know that a few of you watching will, you will understand the fear that went through me when I had to tell him. I thought that the best way to do this, I'm not very good at talking to my parents in particular, purely because I get worried that I'm going to say something that they don't want to hear. And especially with something like this, I decided that the best thing to do was to make him a Moonpig card. So I went onto Moonpig and I kind of made this card and wrote him a little poem in it. So I didn't actually have to sit there in front of him and say, I'm pregnant. I could give him this thing that he could read and process and then come back to me, kind of thing. And we met up for coffee and I had this card in my hand and we were having a chat, and I'd already said to him that I wanted to tell him something, and I knew that he was going to bring it up. And I sat there and he kind of looked at me and said, so what's it that you want to talk to me about? Oh my god, I was so nervous that automatically I had tears streaming down my face, because I think that's when the fear hit me of, this is really real, and as soon as you've told your dad, this isn't just a lovely thought in your head anymore, oh my god, kind of thing. I just looked at him and I had tears streaming down my face, and I just went, got your card? Thought you might want to read it. Sat there and kind of went, you've got to tell me, like just tell me now. Like, I can't tell you, I'm gonna give you this card. Slid this card along the table and he kind of opened it up, and it was pictures of me and him on the front, and he got a bit emotional and he opened it up, and that was it. I was in floods of tears and I was just watching his reaction to what he was gonna do. And I watched tears come down his face and my heart just absolutely broke, because I was like, oh no, is he disappointed? I just looked up and went, I thought that was what you were gonna tell me. And it was like a weight just completely came off my shoulders. There was no shouting, there was no anger or anything. He sat there and he started to go through the practical, okay, have you got enough money? Okay, so are you sure that this is what you want to do? We're completely behind whatever decision you make, kind of thing. And I just remember him just holding my hands and just saying how much he's going to be there for me. And I know that a lot of people, and especially around my age and younger, get so scared to tell their parents things, and that was the best thing I've ever done, because from that moment on I was so excited and I couldn't wait. And he has been the most supportive person, and you will meet him in some of my vlogs to come. He's a bit of a camera shy dude, but he will pop up at some point so that you guys can meet him. He has been to every single one of my appointments. He has not missed a single midwife, he has not missed a scan, everything. It's been me, him and James, and he has been my absolute rock. So for those of you out there that are scared to tell their parents, obviously I had the fear too. My mum not so much, just because she's my mum, and I do find that mums tend to be a little bit more supportive with things like that because they've done it. That's how you're here. But especially if you're scared to tell your dad, just do it in a way that's not so much of a bombshell. So don't just throw it on them. Don't just go into a room and say, I'm pregnant, and then walk out again, because they can't process it. Definitely find a way that's in a public place, I definitely recommend, just because then they can't shout as much if that's what your parents are inclined to do. Do it in a calm, confident way. If you go up to your parents and you're nervous and crying and everything like that, automatically they'll go into defense mode. So definitely do it in a way that is tailored to your parents, but do it in a nice, calm environment that no one's panicking, there's no pressure, and just be prepared, because they're gonna have questions and they're gonna worry, and they only want the best for you at the end of the day. Finally came the rest of my family, my nan, gramps, auntie, uncles, brothers, all things like that. With being 19, there was certainly a bit of friction for a while, just because they want the best for you. It wasn't personal, it wasn't something that they were trying to intentionally do or make you feel bad about. So at the end of the day, I'm now nearly 23 weeks pregnant. I got maybe 4 months left of my pregnancy, and I have the most amazing support base around me, and that is purely for being honest. I do think that it's very important to be honest with your family. Finally, and I won't try and make this video last too long, was the rest of the world. As I said at the start of the video, when I found out I was 19 years old, for the rest of the world that put me in a class of 18 mum, Even though that when I have the child, I'll be nearly 21, the day that you find out that you're pregnant, that's when you are branded from. And I did suffer a lot with that branding, especially when you kind of announce it on Facebook and you put it out to the world, because you are going to get a lot of hateful views, a lot of kind of snide comments and things like that. And I did get a lot of that, and especially a lot of it will be behind your back. It's really important for you to just keep your head up high, and the world doesn't matter. At the end of the day, you are growing something that's so beautiful that you won't care. As soon as that little thing's here and you start to feel a move, or you start to feel her kind of kicking and things like that, you will not care. Obviously it's hard, and I will be completely honest, but I do think it's really important to not get too down on it and to just be positive about it, because at the end of the day you're contributing to the world, and it might not be the path that you chose, but it's what you've been given, and run with it, because you are doing something that's so amazing and that you should give yourself credit for. You're growing a human. Like, this is amazing. So don't let the other people get you down and give you shit for it, because at the end of the day it doesn't matter what they say. Just tell them to fuck off and leave you alone. So yeah, that concludes my video for today. If you would like to write your comments and things down below, thank you so much for all your support. I've had so many lovely comments come through Facebook, Twitter, Instagram and everything like that, which I will again tag all down below. And send me your questions, send me your views, everything. I would love to hear back from you. So thank you very much for watching. I am MamaMoo. Mwah.